Hi, so why the 7 deadly sins of DevOps? I think that often we're told how we should do DevOps so much that it can get confusing and overwhelming that maybe it's a little easier to look at how we shouldn't do DevOps. So, with the DevOps, or the 7 deadly sins, I think are pretty common and universal and well known. Likewise, I think there's similar common, frequently had mistakes in DevOps, and that maybe we can compare those to each other and look if there's ways we can avoid making these mistakes. So before we dive in, what are the 7 deadly sins? There's gluttony, greed, lust, sloth, wrath, pride, and envy. So I want to look at each of those and then compare them to DevOps and see what we can do differently. So lust, of just doing DevOps. I think sometimes we just want to do DevOps and check a box that we've done it, or we want to buy a tool and now we're doing DevOps, but that's not how it is. We need to know that when we're doing DevOps, it needs to actually be mattering and making a difference in our organization. It needs to apply, improve our products and services and reach the goals we have for our customers. So make sure that everything you do for DevOps is to that goal. Next is gluttony, of too many tools. Tools and automation are absolutely great, but keep in mind, and you should automate everything, but there is such a thing as too many tools. All the tools take time to learn and maintain, so that's time away from your products and services that you offer. So make sure to use them efficiently and that they're always reaching to help with your organization's goals. The next one is greed. And that I would say is of knowledge, but not just having knowledge, of hoarding it to yourself. Knowledge is great and get all the knowledge you can, but make sure that you're sharing that knowledge. One of the key principles of DevOps is sharing. So when you find something that works well, break down silos. Don't keep that to yourself. Share that knowledge with everyone else in your organization. Create a culture of learning and sharing with everyone that you can. All right, next, sloth. Now, what's wrong with sloth? I love sloths, and it's probably my favorite part of being a programmer. I think that if there's tasks that are boring or repetitive or easy to make mistakes, then I don't want to keep doing them all the time. I want to automate them so I don't have to worry about them. The problem is if there's tasks that aren't exciting or glamorous, say testing or security or monitoring, something you don't like, that you skip it. So don't do that. Make sure that you're baking it in from the beginning, you're automating that, and it's not going to get lost and forgotten. So wrath, I think, with getting upset with mistakes. Now, if you're the one telling the computer what to do and it doesn't do what you want, you can't get upset with the computer. Furthermore, don't get upset with the mistakes. Instead, embrace them, or really embrace what you can learn from the mistakes. Don't embrace the mistakes and keep doing the same mistake over and over. That makes no sense. Instead, see what you can learn as quick as possible, look how you can improve, and make your DevOps journey better that way by learning from your mistakes. Next is envy of other organizations. Now, we see a lot of different organizations here, and some of them seem to be doing great at DevOps, and you may be wondering how you're doing. That doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the organization you control. Just worry about your own DevOps journey. So, as Puppet's State of DevOps report says, about 80% of organizations are in the middle of their DevOps evolution. So that probably means that's most of us. We're not meant to just start doing DevOps once or do a single thing, but it's a journey that we keep on doing. And finally, pride. It's great to celebrate success and have great things happen, but don't stop resting on your laurels. DevOps isn't a single thing. It's a cultural change and set of practice you always do. So, as Steve Jobs says, I think if you do something and it turns out pretty good, then you should go and do something else wonderful, not dwell on it for too long. You just figure out what's next. Same in DevOps. When something works well, don't stop and rest on your laurels after that. Use that as motivation to keep improving. So to wrap up, I'd like to just go through these one last time. Lust. Instead of just doing DevOps, make sure that everything you're doing in the name of DevOps actually matters. Gluttony, of too many tools, make sure that each of those tools is actually helping. Greed, instead of hoarding knowledge, make sure you're collecting knowledge as you can and share it with everyone. Sloth, don't skip the boring work, make sure you're automating it. Wrath, don't get upset with mistakes, always make sure you're learning from your mistakes. Envy, don't worry about other organizations, just your own. And don't rest on your laurels with pride, make sure you're improving. So finally, DevOps isn't just a single instant thing you do or a set of tools, rather view it as a collision of many collaboration principles and techniques that you're going to need to commit to long term, and that'll help you deliver the best possible products and services.